What? No. To the Chairees Here. Hello. Welcome to the chair reviews and greetings. Greetings. It's lovely wine they have in this chair review studio. A little studio. Now, forgive me. Yeah. Okay. Well, no, don't forgive me. Let's get right into it. No, let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. A few films. Yeah, welcome to the chair reviews. I've got a few films to review for you. What I was going to say is I've had probably more to drink than I normally would have. Let's just get over it. It probably will feel like the same anyway. I like to do it a little bit more sober. But anyway, I'm going to give you the best shot I can. And remember the stuff. I just hope you like me. I just hope you like me, really. Right, okay. We're going to go straight into the cinema films. And I have been a load of times. And to be honest, I did go for you guys. So, more drunk as the thing goes on. But I did kind of go for you guys, because there are a couple of films that I might not have seen. Yeah, there were. And I went out of my way to see them. So, anyway, here we go. Let's get right into it, as we say. So, The Water Diviner. This is Russell Crowe's directorial... Always with the nose. Blah, 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 blah. Russell Crowe's directorial debut. And it is a film about him. He's a dad. And at the beginning, there's some disjointing going on here. But at the beginning, or kind of at the beginning, you see him pack his sons off to war. You only see one of them, really. But you see him pack his sons off to the First World War for king and country. He doesn't really say that, but he packs them off. And he tells his son, which this is in the trailer, look after your brothers, blah, blah, blah. Look after your brothers while they're storming Gallipoli against the Turks. And if you know a little bit about the First World War, you'll know that Gallipoli was a Churchill-organised, Churchill, our great hero, who I think is a great hero, of sorts anyway. He organised the storm on Gallipoli, and it cost thousands of Anzac lives. Anzac is Australia New Zealand Army Corps soldiers. But, yeah, so he sent his guys off, and they eventually ended up at Gallipoli. And they all died, or so he believes. And his wife goes mad, and, well, okay, I won't see what happens to her. But she goes mad, and she's very angry at him for not having found the sons. And this is years after the war. She's still very angry. And so he says, right, I'm going to find the sons. So he goes to Gallipoli. And he tries to find them, and he gets into kind of like the Australian guy, the English guys. They're a very like typically English guys, and I'm not saying that these people weren't like this, but there are English officers to say, no, you can't do that. Just go home, Aussie. Go back to where you came from. And I'm not saying that officers in the army weren't like that in 1920 or 19. I'm sure they probably were like it. But it's a stereotype, and I think it's an uncomfortable stereotype, but it's a little bit easy. A little bit boring, I would say. But that's not to say that people weren't like that. And so, yeah, that may have been the encounter. But this, oh yeah, it's worth noting that this is from a book. And books tend to play a different string than films do, and this film very much does. So we've got that. So we've got that part of it. So Russell Crowe goes to near Gallipoli. He goes to Turkey. He goes to Istanbul. Sorry, he goes near Turkey. Istanbul. He goes to Constantinople, and he goes to a hotel where there's this little kid who goes, "Ah, Mr. Thingy, Mr. Thingy," all the time in a very irritating and old-fashioned way. And there's Olga Kurylenko, who is the wife of a dead soldier. She lives with her brother and she lives with her brother-in-law and runs the hotel. and she looks at him with these coy glances. Ooh, ooh, oh, ooh. While the brother wants to marry her. Oh, you will obey me. You will obey me. Right. Okay. So I won't go into that bit now. So, and what he does, he goes to Gallipoli and he meets this Turkish general who no one really likes, because he was the Turkish general in charge of the attack, in charge of the decimation of the Anzacs at Gallipoli. But he eventually makes friends with this guy, and what happens between those two is really quite good. There's a bond that happens, and it's mainly because of the guy, the Turkish guy, to be honest. He's very, very good actor. He forms this bond with this guy because he says, well, he's the only one that came looking for his sons, and that's all quite earnest. And those parts of it are very good, and those continue through the film. He goes off with this Turkish guy, and there's some very good stuff there. Less effective are the parts where Russell Crowe is feeling the ground and he has flashbacks and goes, I know my sons were here, and it turns out to be true. That's a lot less effective. That's stuff you find in a book, and it's not stuff you find in a film, and it's poor. So that doesn't really work. But as I said, the relationship with the Turkish guy it very much does work. So, well, yeah, I can't tell you too much more about the film. So they go off on their adventures, and, you know, he finds out that one of his sons hasn't died, so he goes off to find his son with the Turkish guy, and they go off across Turkey, and there's some pretty good footage of war footage, like attacks on trains and stuff. It's not outstanding, I'll be honest. It's okay. And that's kind of where the story should be, or that's where the whole of the story should be. A little bit more grit and a little bit more life into that. But what it's interspersed with, and what a lot of the beginning of the film is Russell Crowe, vanity project, making eyes at Olga Kurylenko in this old-fashioned, pathetic way. It's just awful. Little kid running up to you going, Mr. Dingy, Mr. Dingy. It's like the 40s. And oh yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Because last week I described Cinderella as a 40s thing, but it was a 40s production in the best of ways. Sumptuous. No, it wasn't old-fashioned. It was just remarking on the 40s. It was just embellishing those kind of styles with its own style of the 21st century. Just sumptuous. I can't get over how much I like Cinderella. But this is old-fashioned in a pathetic way. Not all of it, not the whole film, so I'm going to go on to how much I like it later. But the scenes, it's like Julie Andrews stuff. Kissing her boy on the head. It's really bad, and it strains any credibility, I think. Yeah, and it's awful, and it, not to spoil anything, but that's kind of how the film leaves you, is in the embraces of such just weakness. I think weakness on the part of the director, which is Russell Crowe. And I'll tell you why I'm being like slightly harsh on him, because I've heard him in interviews recently, and he's like, Ridley Scott's made 20 films. He says, I've been on the set of 50 films. I know how this works. Yeah, you're a fucking knob. You don't know how it works because you don't know your graft. You don't know how it bloody works. And not to say Ridley Scott hasn't gone off the rails recently, but I think it's very arrogant to say, oh, I know how this works, because at least half of this film comes off so badly judged, that it's awful to watch. And that's the lasting impression that I had of the film, unfortunately. There is some good stuff. There are some good scenes. There's some annoying flashbacks and some slow motion things. I don't like that scratchy slow motion, like somebody throws a sack and it goes. I hate that. I hate it as an effect. I think it's poor. I think it's a bad choice. I think there are a lot of bad choices in this film. I think there's a lot of good stuff. You won't have a hard time watching it. But I'm going to go a low chair. I still haven't got my low chairs and high chairs. I'm so sorry. There's more stuff to come. But I'm going to go a low chair on that. I've spent too much time in it, by the way. A low chair. It's average. I think there's some good stuff in there. It's not worth your time. And particularly, oh yeah, and there's another thing, which is why I'm a little bit hard on it. Is this won the Australian version of the Oscar or the BAFTA, joint with the Babadook. Now I haven't seen the Babadook, but I understand it's an absolutely terrific film, and I'm looking forward to seeing it, even though I don't like horrors. But I think it's a bit rich because honestly, there are some very well staged scenes in here. You know, you've got a David Leany stuff like fighting and stuff. Well, not David Leany stuff, in fact. But on the whole, I think it's poorly judged, and I think it's poorly handled, and I think it's quite poorly edited because the scenes just don't work together. It's a low chair, which means it's not it's not below recommendation. A low chair. There's nothing wrong with it, except for the things that are wrong with it. You'll have a fine time watching it. It's fine. But in my heart of hearts, I didn't think it was that good. Right, I'm going on to While We're Young. Oh, sorry. I got out these things. Gallipoli. Okay, While We're Here. It's not a classic from the attic, but it could be. What's Gallipoli? I realised that the light wasn't too good on these. This is Peter Weir's Gallipoli, which is an absolutely stunningly brilliant film about Gallipoli with Mel Gibson, directed by Peter Weir, who is an Australian, who's another Australian. But that's absolutely terrific. Watch this if you want to see a thing about Gallipoli. It's utterly brilliant. Anyway, there's that. Quickly done. I meant to bring that out for the thing. Right, okay, well I'm going to keep hold of this one. So, While We're Young is Noah Baumbach's film, new film. Let me have this. While We're Young is Noah Baumbach's new film, starring Ben Stiller again, who he has some films with before. Greenberg, notoriously, notably. It stars Ben Stiller and Naomi Watts as a kind of 40-something couple in New York. White 40-something couple in New York who seem to be quite rich, and they meet a young couple in New York who played by Adam Driver and the lovely Amanda Seyfried or Seafried, whatever. So they meet them, and they're kind of like, they're in a midlife crisis, I guess. The Ben Stiller and Naomi Watts. And they meet these guys, and they reinvigorate them with their lust for life, basically. And that's kind of the story. They're both of them documentarians, Ben Stiller and Adam Driver. Adam Driver, if you don't know him, he's from Girls, and he's from the Coen Brothers' brilliant film. He sang the song "Please, Mr. Kennedy." Well, I'm not going to go into it, but anyway. Adam Driver, he's a big geeky kind of guy. He's very big right now. He's very big. He's in a lot of stuff. And Ben Stiller, you obviously know. But they're both documentarians, and Adam Driver's trying to get in with Ben Stiller and trying to like make him help him produce his documentary. And the documentary part of it is kind of the riff, I guess, is the constant riff through it. That they're both trying to do this thing. They're both trying to do this thing and help each other and reinvigorate each other. And I guess that's why I'm kind of, because that is true. I'm not going to go too much more into the documentary stuff. There are two lines of story here, and that's where perhaps there is a weakness in the film. There are two lines of story. So there's the documentary part, which is Ben Stiller and Adam Driver. And there's also the couples part, which is Ben Stiller and Naomi Watts, and Amanda Seyfried and Adam Driver. And at the beginning of the film, you really do feel that it's the 40-somethings being invigorated by the mid-20-somethings. And there's a really terrific scene that I absolutely loved, and it struck me right to the core, because this is kind of me, is that it keeps cutting between the two couples, And Ben Stiller's like on his phone, like downloading stuff, downloading music to hear, and Adam Driver's pulling all this beautiful old vinyl off the shelves. And then Naomi Watts is like solving a puzzle, and then it shows the couples playing Risk, like just genuine Risk with pieces of plastic and cardboard. And it's a wonderful scene that epitomises what they're feeling, what the 40-somethings are feeling, which is a loss of their youth and a loss of what went before. And that is what the film is best at. That is what the film really harks onto. And it's something that I absolutely feel, and it's a really glorious, and it's done very, very well. All the way through, that's a very nice feeling. What it goes on to, the film kind of develops into a thing about this documentarian thing, about the truth of documentaries. And it's less convincing, I have to say. There are some squirks between Ben Stiller and Adam Driver about, you know, what people should be doing with documentaries. And that's kind of how the story develops, and it's less convincing than the Wish We Were Young stuff. And that's all I'll say about that kind of about plot stuff. But it's very funny. It's a lovely, lovely film. I think there's a lot of good stuff here. Ben Stiller, who couldn't watch Ben Stiller in this kind of comedy? Oh yeah, that was it. Oh, I nearly forgot my fucking disc again. It's very Woody Allen. If you can see this, so I'm very worried about seeing this. It's very Woody Allen. This is a film, Crimes and Misdemeanors, which is incredible. And half of this film is about a documentary maker, which is exactly the same as is in While We're Young. It's exactly the same story, really, where Woody Allen's trying to, and somebody kind of steals the there's this intellectual old Jewish guy, but it's exactly the same. And Noah Baumbach is not afraid of being the new Woody Allen. He absolutely relishes it, and he's doing a good job of it. It's very, very funny. It's certainly not as funny as Crimes and Misdemeanors, or as dark as Crimes and Misdemeanors. But it's certainly not as funny as any Woody Allen film. Woody Allen is one of my favourite people, and he has a talent for lines which isn't present in this film. But it's a very, very fine film. I really liked it. There's a lot of stuff going on. People who you want to watch. Naomi Watts is terrific in it. She's sometimes in some bad stuff, but she was in Birdman and this. She knows when to go to the good stuff, probably for less money. But it's absolutely, it's a really good film. Watch While We're Young. It's a 2 thrown up. It's a 2 thrown up. Again, I'm worried about the light. 2 throners. You can see her Madge. She's there. It's a 2 throner. So that's that. And thrones are better than stools, by the way, just in case anybody has forgotten. So yeah. Thrones are good. Thrones are good. 2 thrones, 2 thrones. Right, we're going on to The Fast and the Furious. I can't show you a Fast and the Furious film to identify with, because obviously I haven't got any of them. So, let's go for it. I saw the first Fast and Furious film, I thought it was shit. I haven't seen the second one, I saw the third one, thought it was shit. I haven't seen the fourth one, because I heard it was shit. I saw the fifth one. Oh yeah, I have. Where is it? Oh, it's a bit too close, isn't it? I can't even find Fast 5. I have Fast 5, I own it, and I really, really, really liked it. Because it was ridiculous. Because they went to South America and they robbed a guy, and it was just good fun. It was just good fun. And I saw 6 and it wasn't that good. So, Fast and Furious 7. It is ridiculous beyond ridiculous. And some of it's good and some of it's not so good. So, cars driving out of the back of a plane and parachuting down to the ground to do an assault. I laughed all the way through. There are people in the cars going, trying to hold on to the steering wheels. It's just pathetic, and it's so funny. It's really, really funny in a good way. Jason Statham's in it. He's wasted in it. He doesn't get enough time. He's not really the main baddie, and this is the thing about the film. There's loads and loads of, I mean, the stunts in this film. It is a blockbuster. The stunts in this film are amazing. They're absolutely incredible. A lot, unfortunately, too much of it is CG'd, so you don't really believe what you're seeing. But it's stuff that's ridiculous. Cars doing things that planes can't do. And planes doing things that cars can't do. At one point, like, a guy just says, "Oh Christ, I fought a tank, and now there's a spaceship coming after us." It's actually a drone, but it is like a spaceship. It goes on and on and on and on. And there's this incredible stuff. Cars just going off cliffs and driving down cliffs. Stuff that just can't happen. So you massively suspend your disbelief. And I was willing to, and it was fine. There's a lot of very, if you're not into sexism, and, well, who is into sexism? No, but seriously, there are a lot of things of girls just bouncing around with their boobs and their bums. It's a teenage boys film. That's what it is. I was fine to watch it. You know, I could handle it. I could handle it. But anyway, but if you don't like that stuff, I mean, it's quite crass. I mean, the whole film's crass. So there are all these stunts going on. I mean, what? I mean, I haven't told you about the plot, but what's the point? Jason Statham's going to get them. And then Kurt Russell turns up and says, "Oh, it's not about him. It's about Jimon Hunsu, who was excellent in the Blood Diamond. He's actually the real guy." And it makes no sense whatsoever. None. I mean, none. It's pathetic. It's stupid. Statham is wasted because he's not the real bad guy. It seems to be no point. Vin Diesel is wasted because he's a pathetic crap. Where he's so bad, man. He's not wasted, actually. That was a joke. He's so bad. He's so morph. But with just a little face, man. I got family. He's so bad. The story around all the characters is so bad. So it really doesn't... But the stunts are so incredible. It's such a blockbuster that it is really quite a remarkable feat. But it's blockbuster. What I wish was that there was more. So there are all these tapestry of stunt scenes that are enormous. Honestly, there are so many things going on. At times, I wish that there were fewer cars blowing up. I got slightly bored of it. At times, I wish that there was more story, a little bit more character than just two people dewy-eyed at each other, just saying, "You don't know what you're missing." It's like, it's kind of crap. What I'm going to say now, I'm going to go one throne. I'm going to go one throne from Her Mad, because I absolutely enjoyed it. One throne, just in case. Again, I'm worried about the light. I absolutely enjoyed it. It was very, very good fun. But I wish there was more stuff hanging it together. Jason Statham is wasted. There are loads and loads of action scenes, but that's kind of all there are is action scenes. There's a lot of funny bits as well. I mean, the action scenes, by the way, the stunts and stuff are quite incredible. There's some really, really fun stuff going on here. And that's why I give it a throne. A throne, it means it's a good film, you know. But but I wish it could have had a little bit more anything else. That's it for the Fast and Furious. Right, now, I forgot my classics. I've got to go and get it. I do this every week. Knob. Classics from the attic. So, my classic from the attic, I cannot, and my friend Nick, I already texted him about this, is, and I definitely want you to get this, is Cliffhanger. I hope you can see this. I hope you can see this. Because look at the cover of this DVD. It doesn't even say Cliffhanger as the main thing. It says Hang On. It says Cliffhanger, and it shows the leap. Now this film, it shows the leap. It shows the leap. I'm going to show you that leap again. It shows the leap. What a brilliant DVD cover. What a fantastic DVD cover. To not say the name of the film first. Just to say, Hang On, as a tagline. But a bigger tagline than the film. And that is the thing about this film. It's joy. It's pure joy. It's absolutely brilliant. It's Sylvester Stallone and Michael Rooker and versus who's that guy? John Lithgow. If you haven't seen this, I mean, it's 1993. You probably have seen it, but I wanted to fucking talk about it. So in your face. So John Lithgow is a man trying to rob a big treasury plane. The suitcase is full of money, gets spilled on the mountains, and they have to go down. They crash the plane, and they have to go down, and they have to get the money. And he has to fight against Sylvester Stallone and Michael Rooker. Mainly having Michael Rooker as a prisoner. And Sylvester, it's one of those. It's Rennie Harlin, who was he used to be a stunt director and an assistant director on things like Speed and a lot of old films. You'll see him coming up as like assistant director on a lot of old films. And then he went on. He had a go at like being a big director, and this is kind of his main success. Unfortunately, he didn't do anything else that was good. He might have directed Speed actually. Anyway. But anyway, this is certainly his triumph. And he's gone downhill ever since, for sure. That is for sure. It's just utterly terrific. The characters are well drawn. They're all wankers. There's the guy from EastEnders who thinks he's a football guy. And he's kicking this guy in the face, saying, oh, he's a great striker. And then the imaginative deaths of all these people. They're so brilliant. Stallone in this is just fantastic. I think it's his best role outside Rocky. It's so much fun. He's going after these guys. Like, it's just the imagination. There's a snowscape. You can do so many things. But there are so many things that they do. People dying, their bats going around killing people. People being slashed in the leg and falling off cliffs. People being shot with pitons. And the greatest leap, and that's why I did want to show that slight circle. I hope you can see it. I really do hope you can see it. Because it's got the greatest of cinematic leaps. There's an explosion, and Stallone leaps, and there's a proper spider just in the air. It's utterly brilliant. John Lithgow, who plays the baddie. My favourite line of the whole film is he's coming towards Stallone near to the end, and he says, I have to admit, Walker is Stallone's name, I have to admit, Walker, you're a real piece of work. And he's trying to put on this English accent, and Stallone just goes, I have to admit, you're a real piece of shit. And it's just so brilliant. It's so brilliant. I utterly love Cliffhanger. I'm putting it in my vault. I'm putting it in my top 300. I'm going to find a place for it because it's better than Highlander probably, which has a kind of exalted place. It's better than that. It's so much fun. Obviously, you've probably seen Cliffhanger, but maybe give it a watch again. That's my finish. Hang on.